And when you are creating the charts or the visualization, you would like to build the memories out of it, because if somebody has seen a visualization this year and then would like to refer it back after a year, what was it, it must actually stuck in your mind. So how do you create those memorable visualizations? How do you leave that impression that lasts for long, whenever you are creating that?
Mm, I love it. Yeah. Oh, Dr. Imad. You know, that's that's a huge passion of mine, as a matter of fact, to to create engaging and memorable visualizations. Maybe not on the level of Steve Jobs, but whatever level you're at. Okay, this is imperative, folks. We have
Yeah.
got to focus on telling a compelling story with our data. Yeah, let's face it, data visualization. Well, it's ultimately about storytelling, is it not?
Right.
And
Right.
to make that storytelling process more efficient, we have to prioritize the data that contributes to that coherent and
Right.
compelling story, like we already talked about, right? Data that doesn't fit into the narrative or data that complicates the message, that needs to be set aside. Again, we've talked about that before. I cannot overstress that. When I'm telling a data story, I've got to concentrate on data that enhances that story, right? Just like you do with
Right.
any other story. It's the preparation that
Yeah.
goes into it beforehand. And if you do that, you're going to create visualizations that are not only simpler, but also more engaging and hopefully memorable as well for the audience. Okay, I mean, that's how
Yeah.
I do it. I suppose we should all do it that way. But when when you're attempting to do this, to execute this task, as it were, identify identify what that key narrative is. Do that at the very beginning, and once you do it, use those visual techniques, right? Emphasize the important points of that story. When you're able to do that, you will indeed capture your audience's attention, and you are going to drive their understanding. Again, back to that art
Mm.
and science.
Yeah.
Sometimes, okay, you got to admit it's going to take iterative refinement, Dr. Ahmad. You're not always going to get it the very first time around. Won't happen on the first
Right.
try. And again, getting back to that prioritization we've been talking about today, right? I
Right.
think we've
Right.
repeated ourselves 2 or 3 times, but look, as you work on your data visualization, regularly keep going back to it, keep
Mm.
revisiting your data selection. Take a second look, a third look, to just make sure that it remains lined up with your overall objective. This iterative process, okay, it's
Mm.
going to help you stay focused on what's the most important thing. What it is that's going to let you make those adjustments on the fly as needed. Each iteration, well, it should bring you even closer and closer and closer to that final product that in
Right.
the end is going to be clear, concise, and makes an impact. Okay, to further enhance the effectiveness of our data visualization, I think we should also leverage data reduction techniques.
Mm.
Okay, the complex data sets that we've been talking about, simplify them. In some cases, well, you might just have much more data than you can realistically prioritize manually. What are you going to do in a scenario like that? Well, data reduction techniques like dimensionality reduction, clustering, and other things that can be enhanced by AI and ML and NLP engines. It's going to be very
Yeah.
valuable. These techniques are going to help you to distill large data sets into smaller, more manageable forms
Mm.
without losing any of the critical information. Your goal? To effectively narrow down the data to what truly matters. That'll
Mm. Mm.
further simplify. Okay, simplify. Always, always, always prioritize the data based on its relevance to your current visualization goals. Data Data that might have been essential in one context over here might
Mm.
not be so critical in another different context. Again, considering the audience, right? What do? Continually assess the relevance of the data to make sure that in whatever context, however you decide to include things, that it's both timely and pertinent. This relevance check here, okay,
Yeah.
doing that is what's going to ensure that your data visualization remains focused and efficient, delivering the maximum value with minimum complexity. I think that's an important combination.
Yeah.
Maximum value, minimum
Good.
complexity. Keep those two
Absolutely.
together, right? And the key, once again, you hit the nail on the head, Dr. Imad. Give that man a hammer, okay? Right? To create visualizations that are not only informative, but also visually appealing. The
Yeah.
art and the science, the brain and the beauty.